This right here is the Snack Box Micro XL from Junkfood Arcade. I got it at the start of this week and I decided let's do this review a little bit differently, right? Most people will tell you that, oh, this is a controller for fighting games and it's great for a leverless, and I didn't want to take that approach, right? It came with a pamphlet right here explaining all of the different modes that it works on. If you see right here, it says it's PS5, PS3, PS4, PC, and Switch compatible. So I decided, let's really try this out. For a controller that's expensive as it is, and I say expensive lightly, we'll get into that into the review, but I wanna really enjoy this for more than just a fighting game controller, right? Fighting game controller. Let's really limit test this thing. Let's find out how good this thing is in and outside of fighting games. So y'all are gonna come with me as I try this controller out, mess with all of the little Easter eggs that this controller has to offer, and let's really get down to it. If y'all end up liking this video, feel free to drop a like. Let me know in the comments if y'all enjoyed the video, if y'all already have maybe a previous model, how you've been enjoying it, or if you plan on getting one of these, whether it be the Micro XL, or anything else they might be coming up with, right? And feel free to sub to the channel while you're here, right? I'll wait. No, I'm just playing. We're not gonna do that. Let's really get into this review and break down this bad boy right here. All right, so day one, I can't lie to you, I was still in shock that I even had the controller, but this is just me going through the site to show y'all this is what I got. It took me about a month and some change, but that's just because it was a pre-order. Anything else that you decide to get is gonna have what it shows for the Micro XL case, which is gonna ship in about like 5 days. So in the future, anything else you get from this site should ship from about 5 days. But let's really get into what I enjoyed about the controller spec wise. One of the things I came to appreciate about this controller are some of the AFK effects that it has. This is just an example of one of them. It switches colors and just does random stuff when you're not actively pressing keys on the controller. Another thing, this is a very thin controller, but it still has some weight to it. A lot of the other leverless controllers are very thick, and I didn't want that. For example, this is my 65% controller. Lengthwise, it's the same length, but you see how much thinner the snack box is in comparison to my keyboard? I like that. That works for me. Now, I was not lying when I said the first day I did not touch any fighting games. The first game I played was Guitar Hero on this thing. And might I say, I was thoroughly surprised with the result of it. It also led me to one of the most important parts of handling this controller, the SOCD mechanics. Without this video becoming a 30-minute discussion trying to explain SOCD, if you pick up your controller and try to press left and right on your D-pad at the same time, you're probably not able to, because that's the point. You're not supposed to be able to press both directions at the same time. Well, with this having no lever, you're technically allowed to on this controller, but you should not be able to. Hence why the inner workings of this controller make it so that you're still not able to do that, even though physically you may be able to press both buttons at the same time. They're going to make sure that that does not work. So I tried to set my Guitar Hero controls up so that I could press green on my left and yellow on my right. But if I have a chord of a green and a yellow, it's just not gonna do anything. So I basically just missed that note, which is why I had to switch my controls so that my green and red buttons were on the down and right on the D-pad section of the controller, and set my yellow, blue, and orange to what you're seeing me use my right hand for. The SOCD made sure that I'm not allowed to map those buttons. If I was using a D-pad, I wouldn't be able to do that in the first place. Anyway, that's just a basic breakdown. That was something that I noticed I was able to at least showcase without even having to hop in a fighting game. And of course, there are other videos online that kind of break that down a little more in depth, but we're not here to explain SOCD. We're here for the controller. So let's get into day 2 of me using it. Alright, we're here. We're finally playing the fighting games. I know most of y'all are like, this is what I came for. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This controller feels amazing to play on. One of the main reasons I wanted a leverless in the first place was because I'm not a fan of that clicky sound that the actual stick in the arcade stick makes. So I was like, I'll just get a leverless. It's all buttons. Plus, most of the fighting games I play on PC. So Street Fighter 6 when it came out, I just said, hey, let me just learn how to play it on my keyboard so that whenever I decide to get a leverless, I'll just start off already knowing how to play on that layout. I played Street Fighter 6 on it when it came out. I played Guilty Gear Strive on my keyboard when Johnny came out and I came back to the game. And ever since Tekken has been out, I've been playing on my keyboard. So the layout transition from playing on my keyboard to playing on the snack box, I was already used to it. But switch-wise, switching from the switches that are in my keyboard to what this comes with by default, it comes with the Ambers, which are a Junkfood exclusive, but I'm gonna show you the whole list of switches that they specifically offer on their site. I love how these switches feel. The switches aren't heavy, so you don't have to press down super hard on them. My keyboard enthusiasts are gonna understand this a little bit better, but they're not annoying. Like, this is what they sound like. Right? That's what the switches sound like. I know the sound is going to be more of a personal preference thing, but seeing as how the Ambers are what every micro comes with out the box, I figured I'd give you all a little bit of a sound test to know what you're getting into. Of course, like I said, on their site, they give you a bunch of options of other switches you can purchase if you want to switch them out. But I enjoy the sound of these. And I mean, y'all see the gameplay in the background, so you see how comfortable I was playing with this thing. I was going crazy with this controller, but I expected it to feel this good. After all, this is what this controller's home turf technically would be. I still want to enjoy this controller outside of fighting games. So what's the next move? Mario Kart. Did y'all forget? I told y'all in the beginning, I'm looking for unorthodox ways to use this controller. I'm limit testing this controller. For me paying $200 to $300 for this controller, and for Junkfood to boast that this works with just about all of the current gen consoles, I'm trying it in every place that I can, which led to one of the only cons I really had with the controller, which I kind of expected anyway, that this controller is imitating a D-pad, not an analog stick. I tried this game with the Crew Motorfest, another racing game that I have, and of course it's still gonna work theoretically, because I'm still able to press the gas and, you know, brake and all of that type of stuff when it came to the game. But the Crew Motorfest allows you to move with the analog stick, and the D-pad controls are meant for pulling up the map or changing music and stuff like that. So when I went to go try and move my car, I'm basically only allowed to move in a straight line, which was wishful thinking on my part anyway. But like I said, I'm limit testing the controller. I just wanted to see what could work and what doesn't. So don't expect to be playing any twin stick shooters. Don't expect to be playing any games where they have stuff mapped to the D-pad that aren't movement, which is why I was honestly surprised that Mario Kart worked, because I thought they didn't allow you to move with the D-pad, but as you can see by the footage, I was wrong, thankfully. I've also heard a lot of people online say that this controller works very effectively with platformers, so maybe I mess around and try a Celeste or Hollow Knight or Ori and the Blind Forest playthrough on stream or something to try it out. But this was intended to just be like my initial thoughts messing around with it for the first week, so I didn't get time to try a platformer. But all in all, I really enjoy this controller. Like I said earlier in the review, I understand that this controller is meant mainly for fighting games, which I plan on doing. I'm going to be playing mainly Tekken with this thing. I might try and go back and relearn Street Fighter 6 when this balance patch drops. Maybe get back into playing Guilty Gear again, because I know good and well that I'm so washed at that game. But it's nice to know that if I really wanted to, I could plug this thing in for maybe a Mario Kart session or playing a platformer like I said. It's nice to know that this controller does in fact have multiple uses, regardless of whether or not I decide to use it for that reason is up to me. But it's nice to know that it's an option. All in all, that concludes the review. I know I'm going to have a bunch of fun with this controller. I am not upset at my purchase at all. Junkfood Arcade really did a big one with this controller, and I'm excited to see what other crazy contraptions they come up with in the future. I'm done yapping. I'm going to play Tekken and figure out how much more I enjoy this controller. But if y'all are interested, they have a bunch of price drops on their site right now if you're interested in copping one. I'm pretty sure they also said the Micro Lite, which is intended mainly for PC and Switch, is actually going to be on Amazon soon. So we might be seeing Snackbox Micros and Micro XLs on Amazon in the future. I'm excited for that. But hopefully y'all found this review somewhat enjoyable. If you're on the fence, hopefully maybe this made or broke. Hopefully made your decision about buying one. If you already have one, you already know how enjoyable this controller is. But hopefully y'all stick around, like the video, sub to the channel. But other than that, hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's day.